Blog Talk Radio.
Hey there! Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Well, what happened to our Champagne Sunday music? I just want to say today is our last day of Champagne Sundays for 2020. So whatever little elf jumped off the shelf and got into our computer, here it is. We got to, with it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Champagne Sundays with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Okay, I feel much better. Do you, Nancy?
Sure. We just had a champagne toast.
I know. We got to get to that. But everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio's Champagne Sunday show. You know, this is our flagship show, and next January 3rd is our 14th anniversary of Big Blend Radio, starting with Champagne Sundays.
That's plenty.
So, I know, and we weren't even going to air today's show because of the holidays, and then Nancy and I watched this incredibly, this is a movie that's going to make you really feel a little bit of everything. Very compassionate, empathetic, and it is called Two Ways Home. And we're very excited because we watched it and we're like, well, no, we got to do our Champagne Sunday show. This is perfect for the end of the year and going into next year. And so welcome to the last show, everyone. You know, we're Nancy and Lisa, the crazy mother-daughter travel team on our Love Your Parks tour, traveling across the country, documenting parks, public lands, and their communities. And also we publish Big Blend Radio and TV magazine, our digital interactive publication, as well as Parks and Travel magazine. You can see them all. Just go to BigBlendMagazines.com. Today we are airing live from Madison, Wisconsin, and we're getting ready because as we go live, it's supposed to start snowing again. And there's pink flamingos around Madison, Wisconsin, and not real ones, but you kind of feel like you're in Florida, but you're not. You're not in Kansas, little girl. You've got flamingos in the snow, so we can't wait for the next round of that. But as I was saying, I'm very excited about today's show featuring the independent film Two Ways Home. We have the producer joining us and also the actor, the star, joining us, Actor-Tanna-Frederick, and also the director is joining us. Now, let me see if I can get it right. Ron-Vignone, I think if I'm pronouncing it correctly. But this is, I was putting it up on Facebook today, and I was talking about, I love the tagline of this show, which is, for this movie, embrace your past, find your future. It is really an honest story. It's just so, it's heart-wrenching. It made Nancy and I cry, but also smile, big happy tears. And it shed light on what it's like to live with a bipolar disorder. I don't even like the word disorder, but also PTSD. Right. This is something our country, and I know it's not just national, this is an international issue. Mental health gets put under the rug so much and really shouldn't be. It is so important to have this awareness. And when a movie can really transform the way you think and feel about it and really connect with you and give you some understanding, I think it's really important. We need more movies like this for sure. So we're very excited to have them here. Go to the website. It's twowayshomemovie.com, and it's out on video on demand everywhere, December 29th through Gravitas Ventures. So let's bring Tanna on first. Tanna, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, my goodness, was that ever an amazing introduction. Thank you so much. I mean, from the poking down to the beautiful plug for the movie. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be on this Champagne Sunday. And congratulations on the 14th anniversary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know. We're feeling much younger, and
yes,
when you get into these anniversaries. And next time, I think I can't count, but we started our magazines in 97 here. That's before South Africa, after our Nancy had the magazine in South Africa. So it's like we're feeling younger by the day, and with snow coming down, it makes me feel better.
That's amazing. God bless that. I mean, that's fantastic. That's really amazing, though. 14 years is absolutely incredible, and I'm sure has taken so much tenacity and blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of joy on both of your behalf. So good job.
A lot of wine and swearing.
Yeah, a lot of wine and swearing. Sorry, that's the honest truth.
That is the honest truth.
Listen, that's got to be the same thing with, creating a movie like this. And Ron, let's get you in on the conversation since you're the director. Welcome. How are you?
Oh, thank you. I'm really well. Thank you for having us on the show, and thank you for that introduction. Truly, that was beautiful. Thank you.
No, it really, you did make us cry. And because Nancy and I both looked around and like, where are the dogs? We're taking care of 2 collies and a little poodle, and the poodle's like, what's going on, man? And the collies are like, hey, bring that big fur. We want the fur to hide our face because we made ugly face,
we're both dog owners, so we know that.
So we're laughing. We're like, we get it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good, because some of them may bark during our conversation because they like to join in. So especially when pink flamingos pop out somewhere. But anyway, that's normal here. But putting a movie together of this and then basing it in Iowa too, which I really love, this rural Iowa. I think rural settings are so important that it's something Nancy and I go through as we travel the country. It's like they get forgotten, and I think it's just like mental health awareness, like mental health. Yeah, that is, in cities, there's I don't know, now it's like we can talk about it, we understand about it, we're all like, geeked out on Google and whatever, but there seems to be in some of the rural communities no help. And it's kind of the old school attitude of get over it. And so there's no understanding. And I think that's one of the most important things about the connection of the film is that. Just so many things. It's so complex what you did.
Thank you.
How long did it take, Ron, to put this all together?
Oh, it took a long time. I mean, I
almost
say that,
as long as you've had the magazine.
Oh, wow.
No.
Damn. No. I'm going to swear.
Look, I say that with a caveat. The caveat is that, look, this is an independent film in the truest sense of the word, and we made this film on, very, very limited finances and resources, but also on time because both Tanna and I are, working filmmakers. Tanna's doing other pictures. I'm working. And so this film was made in our spare time. That being said, every ounce of our spare time went into making this. So I directed it, I edited it, and it took some years to do. It from the beginning it was 2012, 2013 to the end. So I'd say 7 years.
Wow. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. I mean,
Thank you.
Yeah, we loved it. I think it's so real, and it touches on things that a lot of families are going through, but they can't put their finger on it, don't know how to say it, or they do know, but they can't say it because other people in the family are going to get upset, and all sorts of factors come into it. I know because my dad was a complete nutcase. I'm saying that.
Oh, good.
Laughing because it was all drug induced. He has an asthmatic, emphysema asthma, and the medicine that he was given tipped him way over the edge. And as a family, we had to grow up with somebody who you never, ever knew what they were thinking and what they were going to do, ever. And so when I was watching that, I was like, oh, man, it feels just like that. So well done.
Wow.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And I want to react to that personally without going too far. I had a very similar situation growing up, and the fact that you dialed into that, I really appreciate you saying that, and thank you. And I also wanted to say that in regards to how long it took us to make the movie, I got to say, my mom used to say everything works out for a reason. It used to drive me crazy. But had we finished this 2 or 3 years earlier, it would never have found the home or the place in the cultural conversation I think it's finding now. And that's really interesting because it seems like we're all far more we're more inclined to talk openly about conditions, mental health, and the things that are plaguing us. And so it's an interesting kind of inflection point in culture and where our movie's fitting in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing I really love that you said is that you almost don't like calling mental health it a mental health disorder, which has been kind of in what I've really liked is talking about when completing this movie and having the film endorsed by the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which we're so grateful for and was one of our goals and objectives. NAMI having the movie, them give us the nod and say, good work on making this film. This is an accurate representation of mental illness. But I like calling it like mental health adversity because there are so many.
Yeah, that's good.
Because the film is so much about removing the shame from one's condition and from anybody's condition, whether it's mental health, whether it's an eating disorder, whether it's, whatever that condition is, and that plays out to a whole bunch of different contexts for different people. But I think that it's, there's so many. Oftentimes we look at sort of the downsides of having anxiety, PTSD, depression, bipolar disorder, but there's so many, schizophrenia, but there's so many brilliant artists and scientists and Nobel Prize winners that actually wouldn't have come up with the solution or the brainstorming or had that extra sort of viewpoint of that they would have had that people don't realize to be the geniuses that they were had they not had mental health adversity. And in that sense, I think like calling it mental health adversity versus like disorder, by them, maybe life was more difficult for them. And I know life is so much more challenging for people who do have a lot of hurdles with mental health issues, but they also have this different viewpoint of life that helps them to look at it differently and sometimes can craft whole new solutions for the world and all of these wonderful things that we don't realize. And I think that that's one way to look at it, so just a side note there.
No, I think it's true. Like, we just did an interview with an author, Vivian Conan, and she has what was called multiple personality disorder back in the day, and now it's got a different name. And we were talking about this. I'm like, the only thing we all knew about this was Sybil, the movie. And, it was a true story. It was, so she was talking about how she created these, different personalities to actually, it was a coping mechanism. It is actually something that saved her life in a way,
Wow.
So you've got to think about all these. And I'm like, when we're watching, the movie, I love that you've got a woman in a rural town. She's got a grandfather that she gets along with, but he's grumpy, and here he is a veteran, a World War veteran, and she gets him to write his story, which, journaling is such a powerful tool, and seeing that, and then her, estranged relationship with her family. And we all have that one person in the family you just go like, will you just, you know what? There's always one of them, put them on Zoom.
And they're always there right next to the funny uncle.
Yeah, but today when I was posting on Facebook, I actually had to go back and edit all my posts because I was like, I wrote bipolar disease. And I was like, okay, because now, then I'm going, is it a disease? Is it a disorder? Let me go back to the show notes, right? And I think this is a thing that's like what we say becomes a stigma, actually. And so when, like, alcoholism is a byproduct of mental health. And so alcoholism, whether it's food, all of that, any kind of addiction comes from this because, again, it's a coping mechanism. And then now it's like alcoholism is a disease. It's not something you should look down on people who are drug addicts. So now I'm like, I don't know what to say, but why can't we just, help each other understand also these things are in DNA. They're in, you brought this up in the film so well that this is, chemical. It's not like, hey, I'm going to wake up and rob a store like she did, your character, Kathy, Tanna, which you did. I loved it. And by the way, I want the hat. I want the hat she was wearing.
You guys are the first ones to want the hat. Oh my God, Tanna.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a hippie.
We get a lot of flack for the hat. I got to tell you, we've gotten a lot.
No, I think just Ron. I think Ron just has held that against me for filming in that hat ever since I did.
No. I love the hat.
You want the hat.
I'm just saying. We got to get them the hat.
I love the hat.
I think it's like Sundance catalog. Shameless plug for Sundance.
Go, you guys! Yeah, because you're winning awards. You're getting so much press over this, like attention, and it should be. And I think this is one of those things that once you get through the 7 years of blood, sweat, and tears, it has this whole other life. Like that's the cool thing about movies of how it's transcendent. It keeps moving and it becomes conversation. I want to see, there's book clubs. We need movie clubs of people having discussions, because we're all COVID locked away.
Idea.
Yeah,
exactly.
Thank you.
That
I totally agree with that, and especially right now when everybody's kind of stuck at home. I mean, what a great time! Everybody's doing it anyway, kind of. But this is. What Ron said is really true about also it not being part of the cultural conversation, because had we released this film, mental health is like you ladies said, so under acknowledged, underfunded. People are just never quite sure how to acknowledge it, even though it is. One of my favorite quotes in the film is, "You wouldn't keep insulin from a diabetic," which was great, I think, to have a grandfather say that, because my character, the younger character, is like, "Can I be a mom?" And he's like, "Yeah, what?" It's no different than any other, which is kind of a very profound thing. Yes, I think for a grandfather to instruct his granddaughter on, but that is the case, but I think also it really couldn't be better timing, because our film tour on festivals got cut short because of COVID, and luckily festivals went virtual. But right now, with Gravitas Ventures and having this place between Christmas and New Year's for a release, I think it's a time when so many people are not in the holiday spirit. So many people are isolated. Depression numbers have gone up. Rehab centers are shut. People are suicide rates have gone up. There's a lot of people, I think, that are not being gentle on themselves. There's a lot of people that are scared. The economic situation is hell, and this is, I'm really happy that this movie is out there right now, because and we're just missing our relatives and our family, or some of us might be actually quarantined in the same house with 3 generations.
Not missing our family.
And also maybe with. Well, I thought about this last night, that you could be quarantined with someone who does need professional help and may not be getting it.
No, that's true.
So there's
right.
And this, but I think is also really strong, because the whole medication part, you go through that part so well, and the mom and daughter relationship, the dad and the daughter, and the pool scene rocked, man. The pool scene, everyone just said to watch this.
Thank you.
But I think I wanted to go, and Ron, as director of this, this is some tough. You have this ability where, yes, you made us cry, but you also got us, and I think your cast has got to be, a really huge part of making this work. It's so inspiring, and I think what's important now with, talking about the release date, Tanna, now we're looking at having all of us going through this COVID thing, and some going through worse. Some of, I know people have lost, loved ones. There are situations that, especially rural areas, minority areas, they're saying that was it 300% or 800% suicide teens in minority, and I don't like that word either. The minority is just BS. They're saying that, or let's say impoverished areas. I just want to just rewrite the dictionary of how we all talk. But that,
underrepresented. How's that?
Yeah.
Oh, unrepresented. Ooh. Oh my gosh.
Underrepresented.
No. I love that. I'm sending you both an email after this because we're working on something for that, and that's exactly the word. Over 300 or 800% rise in suicide calls under the helpline from teens. And what I like about this is a young mother and a daughter having to go through, and Nancy and I are, mother-daughter traveling, working together. We have our moments, and we have to come back together. So it means a lot, those moments in the film. But I think to be able, and I love that about it's like embrace the past and find the future. I think that is something to live by as we move into 2021. I really do, and I think a lot of people are going to be able to take this in as a movie and apply it to their lives about you can recreate at any moment and you can move forward at any moment. I think that's something wrong as a director. That's part of your role, isn't it, to make that whole thing flow? Or is that the producer role? I don't know about filmmaking on that side.
Well, I mean,
director role.
You said
director role. That's why I bring in Vignone, the big guns.
From your mouth to God's ears. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, thank you. It's a huge part of the difficult to speak to what you're speaking to, and I really appreciate you bringing it up. Is I think the trickiest part about making a film like this, and clearly thank you that it's worked with you guys, and I think it works with a lot of people. Is how do you weave together the thematics and the big thematic things we're talking about? How do you weave mental health and something that you can take away, you come home with, and it's healing, with a story, with a narrative that doesn't preach to you, because that's what we didn't want to do. We did not want to have this an educational plot. We didn't want to have this, people walk away and going, yeah, thank you for your advice. That was not the intention, and I think that keeping that in mind, we achieved a very difficult tightrope walk in making this, where you follow Kathy's story and her family and this turbulent conflict that happens when someone who is struggling with mental health adversity comes back home. It's like home for the holidays, only in rural Iowa. It's all of us when we come back into a situation where it's going to be rocky. And that's the story, and how this woman forges a new normal in spite of and in the face of the adversity that she carries with her. And she becomes a stronger person for it, and she actually, bizarrely, heals a lot of the other family dynamics. So without her, the new normal couldn't have been put together, because this old wound had existed with the family. She breaks that, what's that? There's a way that people talk about breaking the family wound, the chain, the wound, something like that. Anyway, that's what we tried to do with this. Yeah. And I think it works. So
it does work. Like, and the characters, like, we were looking at her mother, and I'm going, that's my Aunt Mona,
Oh, God,
my Aunt Helen.
Yeah, I could identify different people in my family because of the illness in my family, and the part of it, whether it's drug-induced or whatever, there was more than one person with illnesses. Let me just say that, because you could see people not react how you would expect. And as a kid, I'm growing up and looking at adults and thinking, you're worse than kids on the playground. You're not grown up. And it's the inability. They didn't know how to react. And so they got angry. And this is what I came away with. They felt, and I think you have this in the movie, that when somebody makes a decision and they've already been tagged as impaired in any way, somehow the people around them think, they decided to be that way. They decided to make that decision, and it isn't
that way
true.
Forever. And be there that way forever. That's who you are now. Now that's your hat. Yeah, we're back to the hat. That's your hat, and you're wearing that for the rest of your life. You're stuck in the hat. That's it. That's how it is.
Yeah, it just.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
agree with that. I think that there's so many levels of gray that people want so much to not look at. You know what I mean? It's so much easier if things are black and white, if you're mentally ill or not mentally ill. But there's so many different gradations of mental health and mental health adversity, you know, which it's like you said, like there's, you know, this character of my grandfather was very much based on my own grandfather, who was an alcoholic. He had PTSD. He was a gunner in World War II. It was very difficult to be around him. You never know, like you talked about with your own father, you never know what you were going to get when you walked in the house, or how he would be speaking to anybody, you know. However, you know, what did that impart? There are very strong things that I think I gained from him, you know, and he had his own sort of demons to wrestle with, you know, and I could never call him. I think at one time I probably was very, very angry having grown up with that. But, you know, when you look at the gray area, it's like, well, what did I actually get, and what am I grateful for from that relationship, you know? And this, I'm really thankful to Richard Shino, who wrote the script too, because I think what was really cool about this story, and Ron told it so beautifully, is that it wasn't a sensationalized story about mental health. It would have been so much easier, again. I mean, all these characters could, in their own way, be unlikable. The daughter could be unlikable because she's mouthy and sassy as heck. You know, my character could very much be unlikable. The grandfather's character could be too cantankerous. But these are all varying shades of gray that you kind of get in every family, you know, and what I had seen, and I think what's portrayed a lot of times on media, is actually, you know, it's a person with mental illness who is a serial killer, or a person who actually, you know, ends up being a comic book character, or a person who is beyond hope with healing because they're mentally ill, you know, and it's just these sort of different media portrayals of what mental health is. And so I'm really,
we tried to be very honest.
I think, right, exactly.
Yeah. You know, there's. I remember when my dad got sick, that I tried to figure out what was really going on, because to me, sick was your body, not your mind. Okay,
right.
And he was sick all over, all of it, right? And then I remember there's something like 50, 60 chemicals in your body, and they're all supposed to be in balance. And I remember that when I questioned the one doctor, and he just told me, "Oh, you're a kid, shut," you know. You know, I'm like, well, which chemical is wrong? Where's the imbalance? And I'm trying to talk, because my mom wouldn't talk, and I think it was about 16, maybe 14, I don't know, somewhere like that, and saying, you know, but there's all these chemicals, and something, one of them's out of balance, or maybe more than one, so why can't we just get more of those chemicals? Can't you go look and find the imbalance and put the chemicals in it? You know, why can't you do that? And then you'll be okay. And they were looking at me like, what? You know, you're next in line to go to the...
I know, and it's so hard.
That's an amazing story. That's an incredible story.
Yeah,
really
it is.
But I mean, it was like,
it's so hard then to figure out what to put him on. You know what I mean? Like that journey, unfortunately, is not always. It's not like fiscally supported by the government to be like, yeah, let's go through 20 antidepressants that your father should try. And it's not, you know, and it's often looked at the same time as like a failure in the person, because they are missing that one component, like you said.
Yeah. Oh, and I love the part of the film in the film where, and I don't want to give things away, but when she, Kathy goes off her meds, and there's a whole reason behind that, and that's a huge cornerstone of the film, I think, and you start to experience what she's like spiraling and why and what it feels like, and you put physical feeling to it, so that we can understand that's there is a physical feeling, there is a spiritual, emotional, all kinds of feelings, and I think the meds are such a big deal to even get them right for someone going through this. And then it gets to the point you don't want to take your meds. Just about everyone I know on blood pressure meds, high blood pressure meds, don't want to take them. Because they suck.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all these meds. You don't want to take them. We do radio shows about it all the time with Dr. Jackie Ubani. She's always on, and she's always like, no, you need to take your meds even if they suck. And we have to just keep working and fixing them. And at the same time, people get to that point, oh, screw this, I'm not going to do it. There is always that screw this, and everybody has the screw this moment, whether it's like, okay, I'm clean on alcohol or chocolate cookies or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden it's like, I'm just going to have that one little bit, and then once that one little bit happens, off we go to the market again. So I think that's
I think that's what's really cool right now. I think is so many people coming forward in this last year too and saying like, I am a huge recording artist and I have bipolar disorder. So many people saying, I'm willing to sort of face this, because I mean, when it comes to something like, postpartum, for example, and the mothers who, how that kind of came into the spotlight a couple of years ago, and there's still mothers who really struggle. I mean, of course there's mothers who struggle with it. It's a thing, but the shame associated with that, like I just gave birth to my child and I have not felt so low in my life, something like that, where people, where mothers, need to get psychiatric or medical attention. If we could just have, keep that with people who, with all of the people who are struggling with the loneliness and the anxiety and a chemical imbalance in their brains, that would be beautiful.
And the PTSD part is really big. We have this issue in our country right now. People are like this anger, and I wonder about like how do we calm this down? And it does go to mental health, right?
You vote.
Vote. Listen, but there's that, and then there's also anger. But once you start building on that, you're building a fire, really. And anger. I mean, there's anger management, courses and classes for a reason, because once it starts, it manifests whichever way it's going to go. You can't stay happy all the time. That's impossible for your body. You can't smile all day. Your lips will fall off. But and you can't be angry all day. But there's anger, and is really part of this emotional thing. Plus, we have the COVID thing. Plus, here it is with everything. The police brutality. You've got to think. This has got to play with mental health. They have got to have how can policemen and women, just like our military men and women, not get PTSD from going to a domestic, violence thing? Nancy and I just went through a thing at a gas station on our way here where there was a car chase going around with a guy who wants to beat up his girlfriend and call 911. All of this stuff went down right at a gas station. And I've had a gun to my head over stuff like this, and we've been through a lot. But by the time we got out of there, I was shaking, and it kind of freaked me out for a little bit. I was like driving around going, because we realized that guy was higher than a kite, and a gun was like ready. Yeah. And things happen.
And the girl tried to get in our car.
I know, it was a crazy.
It was crazy. We're like, what's happening? We just pulled up to get gas.
5 in the morning, wake up to this, so we went to a park and drank wine. Just calming down, not like all day, like just it was like a resting breath after this, because they're nerves, and it does stick with you later, and it's not like you have enough of those calls and real things happening. How do you not, get shaken like for a long time, if you are not getting checked into some therapy, some help, and checked in is a bad word. There you go. Another bad thing. Take that out. Sounds like you, like Funny Farm and all of that needs to be cleaned up. But that's the thing. And I think
mental health is that there's also absolutely, and I think that we're not quite even, we can't even speculate what the psychological ramifications of the whole world since March is going to be. And and I think that the one thing that should and can help is always starting dialogue about how we're feeling, and how people are feeling, because it's those times when we try to keep that plastic veneer of everything's fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, usually underneath means that you're being held so tightly together by a thread, is a good way to start, the dialogue, to just say, I'm not okay, I'm really sad today, I don't understand why, or I'm lonely, or, but we all have this, not we all, but a lot of people feel that they need to be okay a lot of the time. And right now the world is not okay. And I think this movie is really saying, like, the hero of the
it's
film
okay
anyway,
not to be okay.
It's okay not to be okay. Yeah. And that's, We've when we've shown it at different chapters of like the National Alliance on Mental Illness in different states, people have talked about their own experiences with their families and friends and mental health, and shared stories, and it just starts dialogue. It starts it starts talk, and that heals.
And I think it also achieves some sort of balance, and I think that's what we're all striving to do. And I think that what you're speaking to, the point is that things are out of balance, and that's normal. Things are out of balance in our life constantly in different degrees and variances. And it's important to have the conversation. It's important to be able to, I guess, get a little vulnerable, because that does help achieve that balance back into your life, or with loved ones, or with friends, or with strangers for that matter, And I think that everybody could use a little more of that right now, because everybody's freaking stressed out. Really stressed out.
For sure.
I know. We're all putting on weight, man. We need to go running.
Yeah. And I think this would be such an important TV series, because you guys could.
It was so fun with this one movie.
I know, because you could address so many facets. They're just because you've got strong characters, like the mom isn't all there. The way, like when she's sitting there peeling the potatoes or whatever she's peeling, her elbows are into her side, and she's so, don't you touch me, and the daughter's trying to, don't you touch me, you can talk, but don't touch me. Her whole body language is so good. To make her Mona. Don't touch me. And I just think there's so many facets that could be explored with the different characters. It would. I want more. I want more.
I know. Nancy's used to binge watching, and she goes like, "Well, I want to watch the next one." I'm like, "No, that's it." She's like, "What do you mean that's it?" I said, "That's it. That's it. It's the one thing." She's like, "Well, that's some bullshit." So I'm like, I'm sorry. So we had to play music night after that, because now she was all like, no, that's really good. And I also want to touch on the thing about the peeling of the potatoes. There's moments, and I think that one thing we're noticing, we do a lot of conversations with regarding independent film, and I have to say what's so beautiful now is that you can stream it, and COVID time, it's like it's gotten people through so much. And I think what's beautiful about independent film, honestly, it's getting back to true character development, and where you can connect, where it's not all the frills and laces to create. I'm trying to watch my language. I already screwed up, so I'm trying to watch it. But it's my New Year's quest to just calm. No, it's not going to happen. But really, cutting it down to not. I think sometimes when you have a huge budget to work on, and it's like, oh, that sounds great, right? And I know just with our own business and what we do, and that sounds wonderful. But then I think you start to lose the integrity of character and what's it about. And I think that's the beauty of this. Ron, can you talk about that side? Because I think the cast are so real about just get down to the nitty gritty of it. Don't BS around.
Sure. I mean, I well said. I can tell you that I firmly believe, I know Tanna firmly believes, and we've lived through this, which is, to your first point, the limitation of resources in making a film, it's hard. It's just hard. It's just like, oh, are you kidding me? We have nothing. But out of that springs opportunity in ways that you never imagined. You have to get very creative to overcome the simple financial obstacles, because you can achieve something one way, but it allows you to problem solve and often come up with something which you would have never thought about had you not been put into this dynamically difficult situation. And then you come up with something that is actually better than you would have ever come up with before had you not had that that impasse, that challenge. So yes, okay, that's just a given with I think independent filmmaking. I think with all art probably, with anything. And then as far as the actors go and the performances, it was very clear. I think that making a film in that context, everybody gets that it's a labor of love, because to make a film like this, partially it's an impossible journey, and partially it's a bit of madness on the part of everybody. And when people see that, oh my gosh, you're really striving to create something meaningful and with heart that has legs, everybody rallies around that cause. And these actors brought it. They really did, and they brought their they brought every bit of their personal stories and their energy to create what you see on the screen. And so I think the combination of both those things really worked in this situation. Does that answer your question?
Yes, because to me it's just so cool to have movies that are just so honest and real, and you just can get right in. And I think it's what I see a lot now with independent film is it's just. And some things really do need the budget because of the big,
of course, absolutely.
The crown thing, you have to make all those big bustier dresses with the big, hips and
amazing.
all that.
Amazing.
All of that stuff. It's important. So
or
that
they could
part,
just be in their
different.
underwear.
But yeah, I think the cast. I mean, it's really the cast were just amazing, and so kudos to you all. So Champagne Toast is Champagne Sundays. So we're so glad you get to be like our final guest on the show. But so we have to raise a glass. This is a family tradition, and this is part of our sanity. It doesn't have to be champagne, anyone. It could be beer, it could be water, it could be tea. It is really about taking a moment. Every Sunday we do this. We go, okay, it could have been a really crazy week. It could be a crazy year. No matter what, there's always something positive. What are we happy about now? Or what are we looking forward to? It could be, hey, I see, blue skies when we're freezing cold. It could be whatever it is. So let's start with you, Tanna. What is your champagne toast? What are you happy about?
I'm really happy about the film coming out. I'm happy to be birthing this baby after so long, and Thank you.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody, December 29th. You can pre-order on iTunes, right? Go to the website again, twowayshome.movie.com to get connected with all of that. But yeah, if it goes on iTunes, does it go on Netflix, or is it pretty much iTunes?
It starts on iTunes. It starts on iTunes, and then it'll make its journey.
Okay, it goes around to the whole group. Okay, good. Good. Okay. So, Ron, what is your champagne toast?
I'm having a sip of Pellegrino right now in honor of your champagne toast. First of all, I'm grateful for you guys for having us on the show and platforming our films. Really, really appreciate it. Really grateful for that. And I toast all of us to a better new year. And I'm very, I know, really, I really mean, obviously that's an obvious one, but by the same token, it's like, I got to say, it's pretty amazing. We live in a time amongst all the bad stuff that's going on that, you know, we have these brilliant minds and the technology that have come together in such a short amount of time to bring something like a vaccine together that could put a little hope in all of our lives and move our entire global community to a better tomorrow. And I'm grateful for that. I'm really grateful for that. So that's what I raise a toast to, and to a better new year.
And the only way is up. Cheers to you on that. And cheers. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nancy, what are you toasting to?
Oh, boy, you really started something.
Be nice.
Don't hold back, Nancy. Come on.
Yeah, good. I'm toasting to a new outlook across the nation as we change. I don't want to say regime, but I'm going right there. I think it's time to grow up. Come on, people. You got to protect your freedoms. I toast personal freedoms and protecting them.
All right.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. You guys have done the deep ones. I'm going to toast your movie, and I'm going to toast to, yes, a new year coming. It's a good one. And I'm toasting to Nancy helping me fix my hair, because I almost did a Britney Spears to it the other day because it hasn't been cut. Well, because we travel the country. Listen, we've been to over 20 states this year, and we've done it really carefully. So getting someone to do your hair is not happening. You know, that's just a little too close. So Nancy and I decided, okay, yes, we'll cut your hair. And so I just got into the point. I said, well, I will just do it. I just did it. And it's one of those things where you grab a pony and then you do it, and then you realize you did it the wrong way, and then your mama has to come save the day. And she did. It looks interesting, and I feel much lighter. I feel like I shed 20 pounds. I haven't had my hair cut in so long, and it's really good because, you know, anyway, as we travel and do a lot of rest area, like catch a sleep for an hour here and then get back on the road. Now I know my hair won't be up my nose anymore. So thank you for that.
You'll probably fit in a lot better with the people in the rest
and it's only hair. And that's the thing. You know, we get so caught up in things in life that was the lesson. Moving forward, it's only hair. That's it.
I have to tell you, you made my hands were trembling. I was so scared to do it. I
made her have a glass of wine, and that's what they say. Don't have a glass of wine while you do this. Well, have a glass of wine, and then she was fine, and there it is. So
I know that. You know what? I am never going to complain about hairdressers' pricing again, ever.
Exactly. And the truth is, I do need to go see one pretty pronto, but it's not happening.
You really need to do it before you go out in public.
That's it. I know. Well, it's too late. I went out today. And so over here in Madison, Wisconsin, you wear hats like Kathy in 2 Ways Home. And I want the hat. I need it. When we saw that in the film, we got it. So everyone, 2wayshommovie.com, again, comes out December 29th. You can get it now, pre-order it on iTunes. Go to the website, 2wayshommovie.com. We'll be back tomorrow with our Looking Forward to 2021 show. We have a panel discussion with travel writers, life coaches, trust experts, and it's just going to be a blast. So join us for that, and thank you both for joining us. We've got a song that we're dedicating to you in the movie, and it's dedicated to character.
Wow, thank
Kathy,
you.
This is called Alive Again, and it's by Kimia Penton. And Kimia is actually a therapist. She actually helps people with mental health in their workplace. On her normal day job kind of style, but she's also an incredible musician, world traveler, coolest lady.
Wow.
And the song is Alive Again. Yeah, is that
Thank you, ladies. That's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you so much.
And I hope you guys will
Kat,
join us again.
Yeah, please do, Tanna. You got to come back on, talk about Project SaveOurSurf.org. Everybody clean our oceans out. Apparently, millions of face masks are floating in the ocean. Got to clean that stuff up. We got to keep our oceans clean.
I would love that. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we'll sort that out. You guys take care.
Beautiful. That sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, both of you guys. Thank you so much.
All my
Happy
love
2021
and blessings to you. And
thanks
you ladies too. I can't wait.
Thanks for the
music.
We're gonna have fun.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Here it is, live again by Kimia Penton. Take care, everybody.